I think a lot of people are afraid that for the upcoming Arizona Senate race, Kyrsten Sinema could, as she has with everything else in American politics, ruin literally everything. That were she to run as a third party candidate, she would throw things to the Republican. But bearing in mind that that could still happen, the polling data so far actually maybe should give you a little bit of hope. Because when you throw up either just the Democrat, Ruben Gallego, versus the Republican, Mark Lamb, or you do it with her as a third party candidate, it does actually make a difference, but not the difference you might be worried about. If you take a look here, in a head-to-head match, Gallego and Lamb are tied at 42%. But when you add in Sinema, she takes 21%, significant amount of support for a third party candidate. But that throws the race now to a 7-point advantage for the Democrat. And obviously once you dig into this, you find out why. It's that she is taking more votes from Republicans than from Democrats, which on its face might seem weird, but think about what her actual appeal has been, what she's done, what she's stopped from happening. It's maybe not that surprising. Here is what the executive director of Emerson College's polling said about this. It appears Senator Sinema pulls more support from Republicans than Democrats. About 21% of Republicans would vote for her with Lamb on the ballot. 34% of Republicans would support Sinema with Wright on the ballot, another candidate. By contrast, Sinema only pulls about 8% of Democratic support from Gallego. So the most radical, most conservative Democrats might flip over to her, but that seems to be about it. Does this give you much hope, Jessica?
For some reason, this reminds me of every single time Nancy Pelosi has been like, I'm gonna support our Democrats, I'm gonna support the incumbent. And then went and supported Kennedy instead of Ed Markey. When they make it such a big deal that people like AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib are not voting with the party. But I think it's more obvious what's going on in the Democratic Party when you see these center establishment candidates like Sinema pulling more votes from Republicans than from Democrats. It's pretty clear who's just been fighting with and for this entire time. And so it's really ridiculous to see this. It reminds me of just how the Democratic Party has been run for this long. It's much bigger than just what is going on in Arizona. I think we need to reflect on what other candidates might pull from more Republicans than Democrats if they ran with a third party, because a lot of people don't vote with party lines. But if you actually care for the Democratic Party's platform and what it has been for many years and what it's gotten away from a little bit, and you're upset about that, maybe you should look at this polling and reflect on how some other candidates would do and maybe support real primaries for every single Democratic Party seat.
Yeah, I think of Cuellar in Texas, like Nancy Pelosi and the others deciding to stick with him despite his, being out of step with the Democrats generally, but particularly in the midterms on the issue of abortion being wildly out of step, and the Democrats still decided, including Pelosi, still decided to help him out. We could be multiple years into Jessica Cisneros' term right now if they had decided to go in that direction, but unfortunately they did not. So anyway, look, we don't know for sure that this is how it would actually break down. We don't know that would be either the Democrat or the Republican in the race. It's possible that with other candidates at the top of the ticket, the split of where she takes support from could switch. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.